Welcome to What's Up, Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez, that cowboy hat wearing, sunglass donning son of a gun is Dan and Daygo. Man, look at this. Look at this new crib we got. This is some pretty cool stuff. Shout out to Vic, the producer, for this, because he told us
Shout
right
out.
around the Super Bowl time. He's like, "Hey, I got a surprise for you guys," and we're like, "Oh, well, we haven't used this in a while," and we're like, "Oh, wow, okay, oh, this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice." I like this.
Moist.
And then look at over there. Oh no, over there it says Dan and Daygo. That's pretty
Let's
cool. So
go.
obviously,
Highlighted blue.
shout out to Vic for that. We appreciate you guys so much. Guys, how are you guys doing? It's been a while. What's Up Bolts has been on a little bit of a hiatus, no news. Well, I don't know. I guess that's the end of the show. Is there any news going on, Dan?
I'm pretty sure I heard some rumblings over there on the Twitter sphere about potential scenarios and other things about it. You already know how the internet works, Frau. It will not take a day off, and a storyline will be drummed up.
I think it's, well, according to Over the Cap, obviously the Chargers are 20.75 million over the cap, according to Over the Cap. And obviously there could be some cut suggestions. One name that's been thrown out is wide receiver Keenan Allen, but I think Tom Telesco said he ain't a going nowhere.
No word.
Obviously, they've been doing the rounds at the combine, and Tom Telesco and Brandon Staley have been doing the rounds, and he's been asked about this.
Come on, mention our compa. Ring the bell.
No. Obviously, Jeff Miller was asked about this. Wait, who are you talking about?
I was talking about the Pat McAfee show. That's why I said ring the bell.
Oh, well, yeah, the Pat McAfee show. Yeah, he was on the Pat Tom Telesco was on the Pat McAfee show, and he was asked about different scenarios. I guess Boston Connor asked him, "Hey, I heard that the Patriots offered you guys a day 2 pick for Keenan Allen." He's like, "Keenan ain't going anywhere." And then there was like, what's going on? And then obviously today, or on Wednesday, the Chargers beat reporters that are at the combine. I unfortunately wasn't able to go, but Jeff Miller, our compa, he was the one that tweeted out that Tom Telesco said that he isn't going anywhere. So obviously, that is the bit of news that everybody has. And I think we have video of Tom Telesco announcing that. Let's see. I think I have video right here.
We ain't going nowhere.
I was trying to remember what cartoon character dude says that.
Yeah. So obviously,
what's that guy's name, by the way? Do you remember?
Well,
do you remember his name?
Yosemite Sam.
That's who it is. I wanted to say Elmer Fudd, but I was like, no,
Elmer Fudd is the other guy.
He's the hunter.
Yeah. Obviously they would have toy guns now, but that's a different discussion for something else. So obviously, here's obviously more of it, and this is a serious one. Tom Telesco was on Good Morning Football, and he was asked about the place that Keenan Allen has on the team, and obviously Tom wasn't shy to say. He was pretty direct. Here's the video.
Here in Indy, and Keenan Allen's name keeps coming up as a potential guy who might be on the move or whatever it is. You're here. Keenan Allen's a really good player. When you look at your roster, Keenan Allen, does he have a place? Is he a spot with the Los Angeles Chargers?
Keenan Allen, to me, he's our Andre Reed.
Yeah,
he's our Charlie Joyner. He's an incredible football player. We have a great quarterback. We need weapons around him. There's never been any thought of that. So he's with us, and between him and Mike Williams and Josh Palmer, we think it's a great 3 receivers for our quarterback. We've got Austin Eckler at running back. We've got an offensive line that can protect. So, those are key weapons we need for our quarterback. So, we're thrilled with Keenan.
I love hearing that. Last year in the draft, he hit.
So obviously, Tom mentioned it. Keenan's been their guy. It's funny because Keenan was actually the guy that was drafted in Tom Telesco's first draft as general manager. That was the only pick that hit. And actually, Dan, if we really look at it, that's the only pick that's really hit besides Joey Bosa. If we're really deep diving into it.
Those are top picks, though. Those are top first round.
Well, no. Keenan was a 3rd round pick.
No, I know. I'm talking about
Bosa.
Joey. I'm talking about Bosa, Slater.
Yeah. So, but obviously Keenan was one that hit, and he had dropped in the draft, I think, because of a knee injury. And then all of a sudden, like the Chargers draft Keenan, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, Keenan Allen's still there." Obviously, at the beginning of his career, Him and Mike McCoy didn't get along. Mike McCoy said that Keenan was just not getting it. He didn't understand what was going on in the offense. That's why Keenan was benched the first game or 2 games of the season. I can't remember. And then obviously Malcolm Floyd unfortunately goes down with that head injury, that scary head injury against the Philadelphia Eagles. I remember Keenan gets thrusted in, and he just takes over, has a 1,000-yard rookie season, has 8 touchdowns, hasn't looked back. He's had some injuries. He's had 2 or 3 years where he's had multiple injuries. He had the kidney, and man, that 2018? No, it was 2015, Dan. In 8 games, he had 67 catches for 725 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was halfway through the year. Can you imagine what Keenan would have finished with that year if he would have continued? I think he was second in the league to only Antonio Brown that year in receiving at that point. Then the year after that, he tears his ACL. After that, he goes on a tear for 5 years straight of almost 100 catches and almost 1,000 yards in each of the next few seasons. So Keenan's been consistent. And even this year, he missed 7 games, but he still had 66 catches, 752 yards, and 4 touchdowns, even after missing 7 games. So 7 games. So that's pretty big numbers for Keenan. I don't think he's done. I think his age is I think you knock off 2 years. So I think in reality he's 29 years old because he had the ACL and then that half a year last year and then the half a year with the kidney. So Keenan Allen is officially 29 years old. What's Up Bolts has officially announced it. So Keenan still has a couple of years. But Justin still finds him. He can still get open. And if we remember last year against the Raiders, and Dan, I'll let you speak your piece right now, against the Raiders in that game to start the season, Keenan had he was right there with Devontae Adams. I think he had like 5 catches for like 80 yards in the first half. And it was in the second half where Keenan didn't come back out because he had hurt his hamstring and that nagged him almost the whole season. But I think Keenan Allen can still play. I think he's a still valuable asset to this team. Now it's going to be interesting. Like Tom said, we want to add and we want to get our young quarterback is great. We want to get him as many weapons as we can. Now it's going to be interesting to see how they build on him. But what says you about Keenan Allen? Does that excite you that they're bringing him back?
100%. Like, I don't remember what year it was, but I remember like a few years in a row, he would start off or have these like 100-yard streaks during the season. Like the guy's elite. Like, I think he's elite. Obviously it's just that his teams haven't been as well because obviously, unfortunately, that's the way football sometimes goes where you don't make the playoffs or you lose in the playoffs and stuff like that. But it's like, this is my thing, right? This is what separates Mike and Keenan. I think Keenan, he's your third down guy. If you notice also, Justin Herbert loves looking at him on third down always. That's his like safety blanket. He magically just gets open. He's like what's his name? Cal Naughton. He's the magic man. He just gets open. And obviously in the fourth quarter, that's when Justin starts looking towards Mike. So I think like that 1-2 punch when it's healthy, nobody can stop it. The only thing is you got to add more to it. So you have more lethal options, the third, fourth, fifth receiver or whatever else you need. And so that's my thing. When Keenan Allen's healthy, I think he's one of the best receivers in the game. He is very elite at route running. He gets open. He knows how to leverage, in zone coverage and find the holes in it and everything else. I'm glad they're not moving on from him. Now, if they can do a little witchcraft in the cap and all that stuff to free some more up to get some more guys in, that would be great. But me, Frau. I hate math. I hate mathematics. I can't do it.
It's funny because you mentioned it, but this year I don't think Josh Palmer, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams were on the field all that much. No. I think I remember
Week 18 was one of them. One of the games they were in together.
Right before the Denver game, I remember I think they had only played like 110 snaps together. The only game that you really saw all 3 of them in there was that the beginning of that Kansas City game. Remember the Chargers jumped out to like a 14-0 lead.
Yep.
On Kansas City in that game at SoFi. And that's when you saw like it was everybody was so worried about Keenan and Mike that they were leaving Josh Palmer open and he had that long 50-yard touchdown catch. And you're like, okay, maybe this is what this offense could be if all 3 guys were healthy. All 3 guys were not healthy almost at the same time, almost at all this whole season. So that's kind of a knock also. And it would have been interesting. That's why I'm saying it would have been interesting if all 3 guys would have been healthy for that Jags game. Jags game, I mean, and obviously coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah. But it would have been interesting.
It's like our favorite saying, Frau. almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It doesn't mean nothing to us now.
Exactly. Well, yeah, no, and I mean, obviously the Chargers, that's a frustration with the Chargers, and now you see, and this is the interesting part about it too, and this is what I think Tom Telesco is going with this. You're bringing in a new offensive coordinator. And I know people are like, yeah, he's like Kellen Moore smart enough to where he's going to come in and he's going to build his offense, hopefully around Justin Herbert. The way I saw Joe Lombardi do it, I think he put Justin Herbert in his offense and it just didn't work. Now, what he's going to go do over with Denver, it's going to work because today I don't know where I saw that they've already been watching film of Drew Brees. And that Sean Payton told Russell Wilson, there's a lot of similarities between you and Drew. And I think I know what those similarities are, that his arm's starting to leave him a little bit. So they're going to have to do some different, some unique things to try and get him to move the football up and down the field. So that's going to be interesting. But here, I think Kellen Moore is going to come in. I think he's going to shift the offense to what Justin can run. And you need guys that know the offense and that Justin's comfortable with. So that means you keep Keenan Allen, you keep Mike Williams, and you keep Josh Palmer. Now, what I think might happen, and I think, and I don't know, but basically you could cut. We were talking about Dustin Hopkins, Matt Filer, because if Filer's gone, you can just plug in what's his name,
Salyer.
Yeah, Jamari
hopefully he can play guard. I mean, you're
exactly. And if not, I mean, if you're not going to resign Trey Pipkins, maybe he becomes your right tackle on that side. But all right, cutting those two, I think you're at 10 million. You still need another 10. You restructure Joey and Khalil Mack, and you should be at that number. And if you really want to get over that number, you restructure Keenan as well. And obviously there's going to be some other cuts, other things that are going to happen, but I just don't think they're going to touch any of the top guys. Like some people are like, oh, well, what if they cut Corey Linsley? No. You don't want that.
He's not going nowhere. Yeah.
Corey Linsley's
you saw what happened with Will Clapp when he was in there, dude.
Exactly. So they're going to need
all around.
Exactly. So my form of thinking is they're gonna shift to this new offense. They're gonna do some new things, and obviously you want guys like Keenan and Mike, or you want Keenan, Mike, and Josh who are already comfortable with Justin. Exactly. Continuity is something that Justin hasn't had when it comes to the offenses. He's had it with the players because he's had these guys he's had Mike and Keenan now for a couple of years. Now the only continuity that they have to get him is a tight end that he is going to be. Oh, that's another guy. Gerald Everett might get cut as well. So tight end may be a spot where they're looking at, but
I think you're in the spot though. But I think you're in the spot though, Gerald Everett.
No, but the thing is, I think you save $6 million.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. I was going to ask you real quick though, going back. Can you imagine what that conversation was like the first time Sean Payton talked to Russell Wilson and Joe Lombardi? Could you imagine that?
It's not just them three. What about Team 3? They had to have been there.
No. You already heard. Team 3 is out of the building. I don't know what was going on here before, but it's not going to happen now. Could you imagine when he said, "Please, coach,
hey, bub, can you go get us some Starbucks coffees? There's a Starbucks here. No. I like the one out on Colorado Springs. Can you go get?
You know what? By the way, leave your passes with the attendant at the end, please. Go.
By the way, Sean Payton is such a rock star, to be honest. Like, and I know obviously some fans aren't going to like him now because he's a Denver Broncos coach and not their head coach or not the head coach of the Chargers or whatever. But we watched him, Dan and I and Gilbert and Vic, the producer, we all watched him in the Super Bowl. He walked in and it's at Radio Row and all eyes are on Sean Payton. He walks in and everybody's like watching him. He walks out. Everybody's like, this guy's just so mesmerizing. I honestly think the year at Fox it really helped him out, like for people to kind of like him. And he was entertaining. That's the thing I'm telling you, like, and that's the thing I noticed, Dan, is that I feel like TNT has, and we're getting it off topic, but it's fine. I think TNT has separated themselves when it comes to the way they do their pregame show in basketball. Yeah. That's the thing that the NFL is missing. Something like that, like a Shaq and a Barkley. Paramount has that. Paramount has it with the guys that they have, the guys that their pregame for the Champions League. They have great guy in Europe.
WR Henry and all those guys.
They have a great group that talks crap to each other. They have fun with it. I feel like that's what the NFL is kind of missing. Like Terry, Howie, those guys are pretty good. But like CBS is like boring. They have Phil Simms. They have They just have guys that are kind of like, oh, hey, we're good friends. Like, we're all gonna share beers. No, you want somebody that's gonna crack the beer and be like, come at me. Like
I didn't have Kobe. I didn't have Kobe.
Exactly. Like, you want something fun like that. So I mean, I don't know. I guess we're getting off topic, but
Coach, I swear I can run any system, Coach. I've been studying for 23 hours out of the day this offensive system. I'm so ready.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, there are some changes that are going to come to this Chargers team. It's just the one thing is, and the one positive is for the Chargers is that Keenan Allen is going to stay. And you know what? Tom said it. He's our Charlie Joyner. He's our Andre Reed. You don't see that. You don't see a guy stay his whole career almost with teams anymore because they're moving around. They want trades. Keenan Allen's honestly been one of the most unselfish, I think, receivers that we've ever seen. I mean, look at Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, these guys that they move around, they go to different teams. I mean, if anything, Keenan Allen's probably suffered more than any other of those receivers that like the Keenan Allen's experience, the losses, the come from behind stuff. Huh?
Houston's pretty bad.
But Houston, I mean, but that's just. But I'm saying like some of the stuff that Keenan's had to endure, like it's like the injuries. But then the like you don't. I mean, at least DeAndre made it to the playoffs for numerous years. I mean, Keenan's only made it to the playoffs 3 times in his career.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things where you're kind of like he's gone through the ringer, I think, and obviously for him to still want to be here, him still want to be a bold, him say I want to win a championship for the Chargers, like I think that's huge. And he said it before. He said it to me before. He's told me like, man, I want to win with this team. Like I think we're special. We have the quarterback. We have the players. We just need to put it together. And when I ask him like why does this stuff happen? He goes, dude, I don't know. And like even I, who have been around for 10 years with this team, I don't understand it. I don't think anybody literally understands it. And I know people out there will be like, oh, I understand it's because of the Spanos family or this or that. No. It's just weird stuff that's why I told you, like when this whole scripted thing came out, I'm like, is it really like that? Like maybe it is scripted and these guys are supposed to lose like that and stuff. But no, it's
hilarious.
Yeah, no, those memes are hilarious. But it's just and the thing is, Keenan's been a warrior. He's been a good guy for the Chargers. And for him to potentially play his whole career out, I'm sure that's what he wants. And he's always said that he's thankful for Tom Telesco for taking a chance on him in that year and everything. So and Keenan's one of the good ones, like I said. So it's definitely he's always willing to talk. He always talks to me. So he's always been a good dude. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we can get him on the show one day. That'd be a lot of fun because Keenan and I sometimes in the locker room we'll have conversations about like we'll just sit there and we'll be like, man, like when Kobe played, like Kobe was like we'd talk about Kobe or we talk about the NBA today and stuff like that, and we just chit chat about all that stuff. But definitely now, obviously, before we continue, we just wanted to shout a few people out.
Shout out,
you guys for sticking with us. I know we haven't been around lately, but now with everything heating up, we will be back. We will be doing some stuff.
Don't think we forgot. Don't think we forgot, listeners. We remembered those comments, and we're going to talk about them now. Appreciate you guys.
So Andrew asked a question. He said, Corey Linsley's playing at an elite level, but we saw this season he dealt with some injuries. He still has 3 seasons remaining on his contract, including 2023. When do you think the team starts thinking about the next center? In my opinion, they should draft an elite first-round prospect center. And basically that's like he says that so he can learn off of Corey Linsley. Andrew, first of all, thank you so much for watching the show. Appreciate you. Appreciate the question. And again, sorry it's 3 weeks late, but we're gonna answer it now for you. Honestly, I mean, and Dan can probably speak to this more than I can because he's the offensive lineman, but I think it would be smart to kind of start getting somebody in there to groom them. Because you just never know. And Dan said it when Will Clapp was in there last year, you could notice a huge drop off when it came to the center position. So that wasn't good to see. So obviously the Chargers need to start looking for a future center and maybe start having them learn under Corey Linsley. Like get a guy. I don't know if in the first round, because the Chargers have 3 needs in my opinion: tight end, receiver, and everybody's gonna back receiver. Yeah, they need speed, receiver. Man. This team needs speed. Like they need a guy that can take the top off, like a Zay Flowers from Boston College. Somebody like that who could just take the top off, and obviously Zay has some drop issues, but hey, you can work on that. That's stuff that you can work on. So if that's your biggest problem, that's no problem at all. But somebody like that who could just take the top off of the defense, you still need that. If you could have 4 wide receivers like Keenan Allen, let's just say Zay Flowers, Joshua Palmer, and Mike Williams, man, that's an elite level, right? That's a lot to defend for a defense. So I think edge rusher, you need to have somebody in there, because I know people are like, oh well, we have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, yeah, but when they come out, there's a drop off, and I know some people want to say, oh well, guys are stepping up and they're trying, but they're not succeeding. You need guys that are going to get in there and disrupt. Look at the Chiefs, look at the Eagles. They had guys that would go in there. Chris Jones would come out, guys would come out, and they would still get pressure. You need to get more pressure on the opposing quarterback, even if a Joey or a Khalil Mack isn't in there, because they're on the sideline getting some air. You can't have a drop off, and unfortunately, the Chargers have had a drop off. And then Dan, last one before, you get to answer this one. Tight end is another one. The Chargers need a tight end. If you notice, look at Zach Goddard, Travis Kelce. These quarterbacks that are making the Super Bowl have elite tight ends. Justin Herbert needs an elite tight end. You could tell he wants one. I know, and everybody's gonna say it's a Pro Bowl. I know it's a Pro Bowl. But last year's Pro Bowl, when Justin Herbert was healthy, he was throwing to Mark Andrews, and I know it's a Pro Bowl, they're just having fun, but he was throwing a lot to Mark Andrews. That could tell you that he wants an elite level, that he needs an elite level tight end. Can you imagine him with like a Michael Mayer or one of these guys, or the kid out of Utah? His name escapes me right now, but definitely those are the 3 positions. But Dan, in my opinion, like I said, 3rd, 4th round draft pick, draft him. We'll have him learn under Corey Linsley. What says you?
I was going to say, just real quick, going back to what you talked about edge, like you saw it this year, Frau. When Bosa went down, Khalil was a lone, ranger out there. He had a hard time getting to the quarterback because no one was alleviating that pressure, because they weren't consistent enough to help him out and get him those one-on-ones. Fox helped out a little bit, but everybody else was kind of like not the best pass rushers. So they definitely do need help on the edge, especially getting after the quarterback. The other thing, when it comes to the question, 100%, I agree with you. It doesn't have to. I agree with both the person who commented and Farrell. Like, it doesn't have to be a first rounder. Like, I think Jason Kelce was undrafted. I think Creed Humphrey wasn't a first round pick. I think he was later. It's like the thing that people sometimes don't understand. And mind you, I don't know diddly squat about the draft. I'm anti-draft. I always find it, I don't know. I'm just not into it, but it is what it is. But like, when you are looking at these guys, you have to look at the intangibles. And what do I mean by intangibles? Yeah, of course, you'd love a guy who's like 6'5", 300 pounds or whatever, like massive brick wall. But then you have to look at the technique. You have to look at the mentality. And I think that's what separates a lot of people, especially playing up front. Like I always tell people about this when I used to play offensive line. I had a Napoleon complex. I wished I got people who were bigger than me, because I wanted, to say essentially, F you, I'm going to prove it, and I'm going to bring it every single snap. And I think that's a mentality you got to have. You see that in the Jason Kelce. He's not the biggest center out there. You see that in the Creed Humphreys. You see that in these elite offensive linemen, that even though some of them are like smaller and leaner, they're still so aggressive. Their technique is more on point. That's what I think sometimes people get confused with when it comes to offensive line. The technique is more important than their size, because if you're going up against a guy who's 2 times your size, but his technique is garbage, you can get under his shoulders and into his shoulder pads. He's not going to be able to move you because you have leverage. So I totally agree with the commenter, though. I think it was Andrew, right, Farrell?
Yeah.
Andrew, I totally agree with you, though. They do need to find a center to kind of groom and get him in there, because it was unnatural. It was so weird to me to see. Like, I understand Will Clapp is the backup and everything else, but it's the men's league. Like, you have to be a pro. You have to be ready. You have to always train like you're going to start, if that makes sense. So I totally agree. They do need because like I said on COMPAS on the Beat, there's a little plug right there for you. Out of the top 3 most important positions on offense, 2 of them are offensive linemen. The first most important position is the center, because he has to get the other 4 offensive linemen on the same page to make sure they block correctly, or else the play is not going to get off and it's not going to be successful. The second most important position on offense is the blindside tackle. The reason I say the blindside tackle is because you have people like the throwing Samoan who are left-handed. So it's either the right tackle or the left tackle. They are also the most important because if their technique is garbage or they have no idea what they're doing out there, they will get quarterbacks killed. Just look at the Andrew Lucks of the world and everything else. He got absolutely massacred, the poor bastard. And then the third one's the quarterback. They're the ones who are going to orchestrate everything else. And they're the ones who are going to orchestrate everything else because it always starts up front. I am a firm believer in that. It always starts up front with the offensive lineman. I am a hog. I will defend the lineman left and right. I say lineman lead the way, Frau.
There you go. Six to Slayer. If he says Slayer because of the Keenan Allen, that's his nickname, then he's going to be excited about this news. But Six to Slayer says, what's up, Compitas? What up, Six to Slayer? We appreciate you checking out the show. Truly do. Thank you so much for your comments. Again, guys, we will be sharing some of these comments. Dan and Daygo's really on top of it. I mean, he tells me, hey, right now he told me, hey, we haven't shouted out people because we haven't done the show. Let's shout some people out. I'm like, all right, this is your show. People want to see Dan and Daygo anyway, so I'm going to do what Dan and Daygo says. Contrary to other people's belief, that's why everybody tunes into everything Compas on the Beat because Dan and Daygo. But
it's like we said, there's no first take here. All my takes are real, no matter if you think I'm a freaking genius or you think I'm a freaking idiot. I don't care about either. No,
and then last one, Carlos Bermudez, easily becoming the best Charger show on YouTube. Big fan. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Carlos. Dude. That honestly means a lot. Obviously,
I have a quick story on this one when I get a chance.
Huh?
I have a quick story about this comment when I get a chance.
Okay. Yeah, no, so definitely we appreciate it so much. You guys don't know what that means to us. Again, guys, comment, do all that. And
ask questions, whatever you want.
Ask questions, and we will bring them out. Real quick, Dan, what you got?
I just wanted to say to Carlos, honestly, I remember when I sent you this comment, I was outside of my barbershop. I'm not going to say where it's at. I don't need paparazzi showing up or anything else, Fran. I can't have it. Can't have it. They're going to be like, dang. I was like, it's not me, guy. There's no hat. I just need a haircut. But anyway, I was outside of my barbershop, I think the week before we went to Radio Row. And I remember sitting in the car, going through it, looking at the views, the comments, and everything else. And I remember coming across that, and I was like, dang, dude, like, this guy's freaking awesome. Seriously, we really appreciate that, Carlos. Like, that is amazing. Like, we put a lot of work into it, a lot of long hours, especially when I'm in season coaching and Frau's in season writing. We really try and put the best thing out there because, like we tell you guys, we're not going to put some clickbait type thing like out there. All our takes are as real, and all our takes are obviously from our educated side of whatever. Like, obviously, Frau's in the building. I coach football and offensive line and other things like that. So we bring our different perspectives, and all our takes are ours. So we're as authentic as it gets. So we really do appreciate when you guys comment things like that. Like, it really means a lot. Shout out to all you on this amazing ride. You guys are freaking amazing. All our COMPAS on the Beat Network family. You guys are amazing. Never stop believing, and hopefully one day we're gonna be popping bottles because the Chargers win this Super Bowl.
This guy, and that's what, like, literally, like, the stuff that Dan and I are talking about here is the stuff that we talk about when we're just hanging out on the couch or whatever.
Yeah,
with
just no expletives, kid show.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, we try and be as authentic as we can, and we appreciate you guys again so much. We appreciate again. Victor Producer, man, this is
shout out.
You really outdid yourself with this one.
Neon Moon, dude.
Look at that. Look at all this stuff is just amazing. This is cool. Definitely shout out Vic again for that. Thank you so much.
You know what it reminds me
of? Hopefully we can get COMPAS FC some new digs like this. This is some good stuff. But Vic is always doing great work.
Shout out.
So definitely thank you so much. And obviously, guys, go and check out COMPAS on the Beat. We talked this week about Lamar Jackson. Where could he be headed? Is he leaving? Is he staying? Where is he going? That's going to be interesting. We have some other stuff on the show, like the free agents for the Eagles have a lot of free agents, and over 20. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? So we have some of that stuff. And COMPAS FC, we have a lot of stuff on COMPAS
heating
FC.
Up.
Obviously, exactly. The Champions League. You have Real Madrid versus Barcelona this week at Clásico para Copa del Rey. Man United, FA Cup. You have a lot of stuff going on there as well. We got you covered on that. House of Horns. I know that they've been doing some stuff about is Robert Woods potentially coming back to the Rams like Cooper Kupp asked. And the Rams are losing a lot of leadership when it comes to Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey. So how are they going to cope with that? Gilbert and Vic, the producer, get on that. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, be a compa, tell a compa.